Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to Leadership for the Future, Warrior, Scholar, Sage, where every single week we get together right here, same time, same place, simultaneously on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I think Instagram and Twitter are a little late to the party today, but they'll check in with us in a moment. Having a little bit of technical difficulties because, you know, technology is both a blessing and a curse, right? And such is life. But I want to welcome you here today. Please say hello, weigh in down below. Tell me who you are and where you're dialing in from, tuning in from around internet land. And I want to talk to you for just a moment about the subtitle. I was inspired to do this just as we're coming live, you know, Warrior, Scholar, Sage, because, you know, we've talked about this in the past, but it's been a while. Why Warrior, Scholar, Sage? Well, the warrior is where it has to begin. You have to learn to be able to fight in the arena of life because, let's face it, growing, evolving, changing is hard work. You with me? And that's why most people don't do it. And so you've got to develop that warrior spirit. If you think you're going to do it on easy street, think again. As you continue to grow and evolve, because a scholar learns then finally to move beyond just sheer grit and grind and warlike attempts at the adversary, which, by the way, the adversary is internal, not external. Always, always your greatest adversary is internal, not external. And I know that makes sense to you. To scholar, which means you start to use your mind in better ways. You realize that you can get more with your mind than you can with your muscle, right? Metaphorically and literally. You can get more with your mind by utilizing it correctly and dialing it in to universal energies. And then we move finally to sage. And the sage is the individual who finally realizes that there is a spiritual power. Let me tell you something. Business and life are a spiritual game. Now, not religious. And if spirituality is religious for you, I respect that. But that's not what I'm talking about here today or what we're talking about here in Leadership for the Future. Spirituality, or being a sage, if you will, is understanding that you have to be able to bring the intangible realm of spirit into the tangible realm of form. And you begin to recognize that there's a bigger power that works through you than comes from you. I want to welcome Twitter. Sorry we got you on late, but we're really, really glad that you're here today. Leadership for the Future, Warrior, Scholar, Sage, and I'm just catching us up on why we have this subtitle. If you want to go back and look at some of our previous episodes, this is episode number 75, by the way, then, you know, we talked about each one of these in great depth and detail. But as you move, here's the key. When you move to the sagacious level, now there's a college word, move to the sagacious level and you start accessing your spiritual power, it doesn't mean that you do away with these, because the objective of life and evolution is to transcend one level and include it. Does that make sense to you? Not transcend and exclude, or suppress or deny, but transcend and include. And I hope that makes sense to you, because the sage is still a warrior. Had to be a warrior before he or she could become a sage. The sage is still a scholar, using his or her mind effectively. So, I just wanted to share that with you. It just came to me, and hopefully there's at least one of you that needed to hear that here today. All three. When you go 3 for 3, Warrior, Scholar, Sage, you're really, really playing at the elite level, the top of your game. Every single week, what we're talking about here and exploring are the strategies, the psychology actually first, and the strategies then secondarily, to powerfully lead both your life and business. Look, lead your life. Lead your business. Because the world needs more leaders. Are you with me? And not the leaders that we hear talked about so frequently. I want to welcome Instagram. Thank you we're sorry that you're a little late to the game, but I really, really appreciate you being here. We had some technical difficulties here this morning. Leadership for the Future, Warrior, Scholar, Sage. And we got a real hot topic here today. You know, just quick updates. If you would share this, if it's valuable to you, help me, help you, help those that you love and care about. Some of you share every single week here on Facebook. It's right down here. And it's really easy just to hit that button and thereby impact the world, your world, and the people in your circle and community's world. On Instagram, do the same, share it, invite. Twitter, you can retweet. And that way you can have an impact on people's lives. Now look, let's talk about expectations today. And I'm going to suggest to you that you need to always expect the best. You say, well, James, I've heard that before. I'm sure that you have. But here's what you maybe have not heard. Sometimes what you perceive to be the worst is actually the best. Am I right? Sometimes what you perceive to be the worst is actually the best. You know, Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha, by the way, there were many Buddhas because Buddha is a title, it's not a name, but Siddhartha is the one we consider to be the Buddha. He was asked once, why don't you teach your students to pray? His sagacious response, I don't teach my students to pray because my students aren't awake enough to know what to pray for. I'll just leave that laying there for a minute and I'll come back to it. Actually, let me finish what he said. He said, but what I do know is that when you wake up, there is nothing to pray for. I'll leave that there for a second and we'll come back to it. You see, last week we discussed what I termed the 3 deadly dream killers. You remember these? That most people in today's world are going after the 3 deadly dream killers. Number 1, they want something easy. Do you know these people? Are you one of them? If you are, with all due respect, you're tuned into the wrong program. Because I'm not about easy. There is no easy. And I promise you this, if it's easy, it's absolutely not going to be great. But most people, they want something easy, number 1. Number 2, they want to take weekends off and have a lot of free time. Okay, let me tell you something. When you're on point and purpose, when you know why you're here, when you're on fire with your mission, you don't need time off. You're living your life, your life's purpose, and yet they want something easy. They want a lot of weekends off and a lot of free time. Do you know these people? And number 3, they want to make a lot of money doing the first 2. Well, you know, good luck, God bless. Come see me when you figure out that doesn't work. You see, in the race to mediocrity, the masses have lost their commitment to the long game. You know, take a quick interview of the people that you know, people that you work with, people in your community, and ask them how many of them are committed to mastering their craft. And I guarantee you, you're going to probably get blank stares, and you know, most probably people aren't even going to know what you're talking about, because we want something easy, we want something fast, we want the quick fix, we want the simple success, we want the magic bullet and the secret sauce. Well, let me tell you, those things don't exist. Particularly if you're going after mastery, which most people don't even consider mastery. But let me promise you this, you are hardwired to be great. Whether you're consciously aware of it or not, you are hardwired and born. It's your birthright to be great. So let's come back to expecting the best, all right? And I'm going to ask you to consider really deeply, what is the best anyway? How do you define that? More money? That's what a lot of people would say is the best. More applause? A lot of people would say that. Getting things the way you think they, quote, should be? Is that the best? Well, let me also ask you to consider, how many times have you, like me, gotten something that you thought you really wanted? And you got it the way you thought it should be, only to find out that it turned out to be a complete nightmare, right? You got that major stud, ladies, that you were going after, and the stud turned into Satan, right? Have you had that? Or you know, if you're guys, you got the woman of your dreams, and all of a sudden she was demon possessed. You've gotten that dream job, and your boss was a nightmare. You've gotten that new house, and the mortgage is stressing you out. You've got that new car that was the best, right? And how quickly does it just become another payment and a lot of upkeep? How many times have you, like me, gotten what you thought was the best to find out it was a complete nightmare? If you're honest, you'll have to say a time or three. Look, easier said than done, but trust, have faith right now that what is happening right now is the best for your future development, advancement, and growth. You know, we talked about the spiritual power at the sage level that we begin to recognize. Well, let me tell you something. You're a spiritual being living in a physical body. And spirit has one objective: fuller expansion, experience, and expression. That's it. Let me repeat that. That's one for your notes. Spirit has one objective, just one: fuller expansion, experience, and expression. And so consequently, God's will, Spirit's will, universal will is for you to grow. And you don't grow the most smelling the roses and the sweet perfume. You know, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It doesn't mean you like it that way. I don't like it that way either sometimes. But the fact is, you grow the most in the crucible of challenge. Challenges make champions. False or true? And so what you have to do is learn to love the challenge, is learn to love what's happening, is learn to love and respect. Doesn't mean you have to like it. Big difference. There's a difference, right? I don't like it either sometimes. But you have to learn to love and respect and trust and have faith that what is happening right now is the best for your own development, advancement, and growth. Are you with me on this? Is this making sense to you? Again, you may not like it, but you can learn to love it. Why? Because you love what it does for you. Because the challenges and the difficulties and sometimes the crisis bring out the best within you. So expect the best. Because if you're going to succeed now and moving into the future, if you're going to live a life that's truly fulfilling in this disruptive world, which we've been talking about, you know, for months now, how to survive first and foremost, and then literally thrive in this Mach 10 market, this disruptive world. If you're going to do that, to really thrive and live a fulfilling life, you're going to have to let go now of the faulty expectations that you've been programmed to believe are going to bring happiness. You see, why is it that most people believe that more money is going to bring happiness, even though all the research proves that's not true? Check it out for yourself. In fact, what the research proves is that more money often brings less happiness. It brings more stress. It certainly brings more responsibility. And I'm not suggesting you couldn't go after more money. You can if that's what you want to do. But don't expect it to bring you happiness, because happiness is an inside game. So is fulfillment. And unless and until you let go now of the faulty expectations of how you think life should be, you're never, ever, ever going to be grateful or appreciate and be happy with what life is. Now, this is vital. Are you getting this today? Because things are going to only continue to be destroyed and disrupted in this Mach 10 market. All the research and all the experts are telling us that that's a fact. It's not going to get less chaotic, it's going to get more chaotic. And so how can you, in this Mach 10 market, in this disruptive world that we live in, where jobs are going to go away and things are going to shift, how can you live a life that you desire and deserve? How can you have true, authentic happiness? Not a dopamine spike, we talked about that in the previous episode, but authentic, sustainable happiness and fulfillment in the midst of apparent chaos? Well, the first step is, or one of the many steps is, as we've been exploring here, is you're going to have to let go now of the faulty expectations, of the programming. You're going to have to escape the matrix. You're going to have to get out now of the prison that you have been conditioned into. You see, you are hardwired to greatness and to mastery, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. And when you pursue greatness, when you follow your intuition, inner teacher, inner tuition, intuition, inner teacher, when you follow your heart, you know what happens? The pursuit and the process are the reward. You know, it's always interesting to me when someone says to me, well, James, when am I going to get the reward? And when someone asks a question like that, when am I going to get the results? You're getting results every single day. But when someone asks me a question like that, I instantly know you have not found your purpose. Because when you find your purpose and you let go of the faulty expectations of what is best, and you embrace what is as an opportunity to develop, advance, and grow, to further evolve, and to access your spiritual beingness, then, and only then, do you begin to realize that the process of living your purpose is the reward. You know, it says in the Bhagavad Gita, which comes out of the Upanishads, one of the greatest books of all time, one of the most ancient spiritual books of all times. The teacher is telling the student, you have the right to do your work, but you don't have the right to the fruits of your work. Interesting concept. Really doesn't compute in the Western mind, does it? Now, here's the simplest strategy. I'm going to ask you to write this down. I'm going to encourage you to write this down. Here's the simplest strategy to living a fulfilling life that I can give you. Really straightforward and simple. You ready? Do what you can do as well as you can do it every single day of your life, and you will live and die one of the happiest and most fulfilled human beings in the world. Did you get that? Let me repeat it. Do what you can do to the best of your abilities, as well as you can do it, I mean, you need to go to bed totally wasted at night. And I'm not talking about tipping back a few cool ones either. I'm talking about being totally expired energetically every single night. I want to go to bed and just crash into the bed and yet still be inspired, totally expired and yet still inspired because I've given everything. I've put it all on the field. That's the warrior. I've gotten into the arena and I've done everything possible today to the best of my abilities today. I've given it all today. And you do that every single day of your life, and you will live and die one of the happiest and most fulfilled human beings in the world, period. Look, let's be completely upfront here. As you know, that's how we play here, right? I'm always going to shoot you straight, and I think you know that, or you wouldn't be here. I'm not gonna blow rainbows and sunshine up your keister. That's not my style, right? I'm going to tell you straight. So let's be completely straight and transparent and up front and on board here. Deep down inside, you know what you're here to do, don't you? You know, deep down inside. Irrespective of what you're currently chasing, irrespective of what you're currently attempting to pursue, irrespective of how you get paid or what you get paid to do, deep down inside, you know, you've heard the call, you've felt the pull, sometimes small, sometimes large. But the fact is, maybe you just haven't had the courage yet to listen and to follow. You know what you're here to do. You know if what you're doing is for the love of the doing. You know what you're doing is for the love of your mission. You know what you're doing is a career or a calling. Big difference. Huge difference. Because here's what I know, and you like me know this as well. You don't want a career. You're hardwired to have a calling. Something that pulls you and compels you. You don't want weekends and days off and holidays and vacations. Those are all okay. What you want is something meaningful. What you want is to get up every single day on point and purpose. And to know that you know that you know that you're doing something significant. False or true? You know what you're here to do. You know if you're doing it for the mission and the meaning, or if you're just doing it for the money. You know. Let me tell you something. Most people are doing what they do every single day for the money. It's sad. Nothing wrong with money. There's a lot right with money. You know, I can help you make money. I've made a lot of money, and I've used a lot of money, and money is a great tool. There's nothing wrong with it. But it doesn't bring meaning. It doesn't. And this isn't just my idea. This is my experience with over 1 million people from 145 different countries around the world, and it's research-based. Not just my research, but smarter people than you and me. And let me tell you something that's really, really sad. Gallup tells us that 71% of the people surveyed spend every hour of their waking day doing something that they're miserable doing, and they're disengaged from, and they're going through the motions because they're handcuffed to the money. And I promise you this, you spend your life chasing money, it's a wasted life. no matter how much money you make. You see, the fact is most people are wasting their life doing things that they don't enjoy and they're not great at just to make more money. So then they can use that money to do more things that they aren't great at to make more money. Really good logic, right? No, actually kind of stupid. Because here's the fact though, becoming great is hard. According to Dr. Anders Ericsson's research, it takes a minimum of 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. Focus, commitment, going all in. It's hard becoming masterful and great. And there's no guarantees you'll get there. Yet even so, chasing the money is even harder because it won't bring meaning, no matter how much you make. If you don't have any love for what you're doing, look, if you wouldn't do what you're doing for no money at all, look, Jeff Bezos, over the Christmas holidays, hit richest man in the world. He's worth billions. You know, he has Amazon. Do you know Amazon didn't turn a profit for 10 years? 10 years. Jeff Bezos left an incredible career on Wall Street, making a handsome salary right before he was about to get a big bonus. When they interviewed him, the press interviewed him, you know, later on, they said, Jeff, how is it that you left your Wall Street job right before this huge bonus? You know what he answered? Huge bonuses, big bonuses are not what you think about when you're 80 years old. If you wouldn't do what you're doing for no money whatsoever, if you have no potential or possibility at being absolutely great at what you do, possibly masterful, then stop wasting your life. Tick-tock. Stop wasting your time and your very life attempting to do it. Please, please. You're trading your life for what you do every single day. You're literally trading your life. Make sure you're trading your life for something worthy of you. You know who you are deep down inside. Let go of the faulty expectations of how life should be. It's hard following a life of purpose. It's hard staying the course when you don't see results. But the difference between the master and the beginner is the master has the ability to stand in the face of no results longer. And the master also knows that it's far nobler to imperfectly pursue your own vision and purpose than to perfectly pursue the vision and purpose of someone else. Stand up. Embrace your calling. Take the action you know you need to take. Be a leader and take your power back. Now look, I hope I've given you some things to think about here today, and more importantly, to act upon. If you missed my live webcast yesterday, not to worry. There should be a link right there above my head here, and we're going to leave up a replay for a limited amount of time. You can just click the link, it's free, and it's all, the title is How to Seize Opportunity and Double or Triple Your Income. And I've just given you some insights here today, because we live in the most incredible entrepreneurial window of all time. No exception. There's so much opportunity where the amateur sees chaos and crises, the master and the true leader sees opportunity. So let me help you see opportunity. Just click the link above my head here on Facebook, on Twitter. It's there as well. On Instagram, it should be in the bio. We're only going to leave up the replay for a heartbeat. So if you're interested, it's absolutely free. It's my gift to you. And I believe, in fact, I know it was off the chain yesterday, and the people who attended were tearing up and firing up and burning up the chat room. So it was good stuff. I thank you for being here. Please share this on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram. Do whatever you do on Instagram. You know, invite, share, comment. I love you. I appreciate you, and I hope this has been of value to you. Until we speak again, as always, be a leader, live your purpose, and take your power back.